They lied, as today we go with Amano Serafi. We're looking at Tsukino Mito and the investors having issues with Nijisanji on this episode. Of course, today we're talking about Amano Serafi. VNU has pretty much made their announcement that they're going to try to sue her and all that kind of stuff, and they're going to be refunding her actual things from December onward, which is basically wage theft. I already put that in my community tab. You can take a look at that if you want. It's wage theft, pretty much. She is now alien mixture. She's doing very well for herself. She's this cute little cat here. Cat alien thingamadoobs. She is doing rather well for herself recently. I have, rated her channels and all that kind of stuff. I have done everything that I can to, push the closeness of the VTuber community and such. So she recently, as of 11 hours ago, put that my experiences with VNU. This is her saying it in her own words. Of course, we always want to hear their own words. My experiences with VNU. I addressed the initial statement released March 20th, 2024 by VNU Entertainment only on stream, as I did not want to put further energy into the situation and I wanted to move on and focus on the future. Originally, I did not include specific information and details at that time, as I wanted to preserve some semblance of privacy for myself. However, with the release of their most recent statement, released March 25th of 2024, I feel the need to address the situation one final time. So this is her final time of saying it, to refute the multiple incorrect and inaccurate statements by my previous agency about me and my graduation/termination. I will be responding to the statement following the order of their statements before including a final paragraph with any remaining thoughts. Again, I will not be naming any names, and I still ask that no slander or hate go out to the talents or the company. She's being very nice here. I just want my full story to be heard. First, the claim that VNU Entertainment stating that it has not always been easy for us to work with her, as we had to change and reassign her a new manager 4 times to meet her needs, but we believed it was all part of the process, is false. Not false ID, false. I never requested for my managers to be changed. This was done by my agency without knowledge or consent, so they did it on their own. She didn't ask for it. My agency never expressed to me during the time we worked together that I was hard to work with. If anything, I tried to accommodate their requests, demands, and the way they managed things. All 3 times, 4 total managers. My managers were changed. It was due to other reasons, which I will detail below. The first manager I had when started working with VNU Entertainment will be referred to as Man Number 1. Man Number 1 worked with me during my debut, and for a period of about a month after that. The only language I know and speak is English, and I was hired specifically to bring a Western audience. Therefore, I required an English-speaking manager. Man Number 1 did not speak the best English, and also did not have the best managerial skills. There were numerous cases where my questions would go unanswered, which would then require me to follow up and tag him multiple times for him to see and acknowledge it, or he would take my questions to a higher up, and I would sometimes get an answer back if I was lucky. So Manager 1 wasn't doing their job as a manager and was removed by the company and not her, from what it looks like. There were also a lot of miscommunications due to the language barrier regarding my needs and wants on certain assets. One example, she gives examples here, is my model. I had made a whole folder of examples showing expressions toggles I wanted for my model, which was requested by Man Number 1. None of these expressions toggles were delivered. I brought up the fact that these expression toggles were missing, but management disregarded my concerns. As I did not want to seem picky or complain, I accepted the circumstances, as I thought they knew best. Some time passed after this, and I was randomly informed that Man Number 1 was then moved to a different department, and I was assigned a new manager. So she wasn't getting the toggles that she wanted. She wasn't getting the movement in this whole organization that she wanted. She wasn't getting the respect, I'm guessing, and also the just the support that you would expect from a larger organization, an organization that promises support. You expect that. A huge red flag, as Nosagi and Yam would say. My second manager would be referred to as Man Number 2. Man Number 2 was assigned to be my manager after Man Number 1, and she told me that she was not the best at English or had prior management experience, but that she would try her best. I was okay with this because I did not want to cause issues or seem mean, as I can acknowledge that English is not everyone's first language. Manager Number 2 was very nice, but there were miscommunications and times where it was hard to reach her with questions and statements. However, suddenly she was no longer my manager and I was not given a heads up. So this is the second time they switched her manager without her knowing. I was then assigned my next manager, who's also managed 10 talents alone. So Man Number 1 was miscommunications and not knowing very much English. So there were a lot of things that weren't getting done right with Manager Number 1, which was, the toggles and other things she wanted done. Manager Number 2 also was not doing very well, but they also let her know beforehand they probably weren't going to be doing very well. And now we're to the third manager. My third manager, as mentioned above, will be referred to as man number 3. Man number 3 had no prior experience with managing and was our marketing leader prior to being made manager to 10 talents. My experience with man number 3 was negative. Initially, he seemed to really care and tried to implement changes as he knew and acknowledged how bad our management system was. However, as time progressed, I slowly started to feel as if he didn't care. There would be many times where I would ask him for guidance and help, and the only response I would receive are, "I'm really busy right now," or "I can't, I'm working on Gen 3. So this manager was pushing Gen 3, was pushing pretty much all the other talents that were involved, all these other things that were involved, not giving her the most respect and actually the most attention. According to her, also dealing with 10 other talents, which is insane for anybody. It's starting to sound a lot like Nijisanji on this one. As this was during the time Gen 3 was in pre-debut, I fully understood the stress of making sure a generation debuted, but I felt tossed aside and made to do and learn on my own. I was also very nervous at the fact that we were getting new talents so very fast. When I confronted man number 3 about this, I told him that it wasn't a very smart thing to do, as VNU Entertainment already had a lot of talents and was pulling a Niji. Basically, she said pulling a Nijisanji of, trying to spread, like, the market, have like, way too many out there in the market. Trying to flood the market with those types of things. To which he replied that was the idea because the CEO had a plan with all the talents. When I asked him if the plan was a good plan, he only told me, it's a plan. That doesn't really bring any confidence in anybody, ever. Like, that would never be a good thing to do. Regarding VNU Entertainment, statements about respecting my time off requests, my agency was not completely supportive. So they were completely supportive and pressured me multiple times, specifically during my move into my grandmother's house, that she had willed to me. My personal items and streaming setup was delayed in transit and was not going to arrive for at minimum another week, despite being promised the next day delivery. I had nothing except for a blow-up mattress and a couple of clothes. All my work stuff was packed up in a pod that I was not able to reach due to it being in transit. I let man number 3 know this, as these issues were not due to my negligence, and updated him at every possible opportunity. So she let them know when there were situations. When there was issues with this whole thing, she let them know. It wasn't that, oh my god, she was being difficult, she was being that, she was being this other thing. She let them know. Over time, man number 3 was not receptive to these issues and demanded that I make content regardless. I told him that wouldn't be possible, as I had nothing except for my phone, and the only thing I could do was make a couple of tweets to update my community. He then gave me a deadline to get back to streaming, disregarding the circumstances and everything I had said prior. So they were pushing for content. Kind of reminds me of Nijisanji on that end. Pushing for people to meet certain deadlines that they themselves had imposed and not the talent themselves. Even in this case, when this talent had nothing that she was able to do with streaming. That is just BS. That stressed me out immensely, as I was afraid to be fired, let go, and I would lose the only thing I had at the time to make ends meet. Once my streaming setup arrived, I returned to streaming immediately and tried to forget about these interactions. So she tried to just get past it all, as a lot of people do. You try to just soldier on through and do what you can to create the content for the community that loves you. And that's what I try to do too. All people who have a community try to do that. After that, I started making TikToks and YouTube shorts featuring my singing. A couple of TikToks blew up, I received a lot of views, and that got man number 3's attention. I was praised and finally received assistance for the first and one of the only 3 times. So there were only 3 times in her whole time being there that she had gotten any type of assistance. Other times she was either ignored, as she mentioned above with man number 1 or man number 2, or they were just too incompetent to really figure it out. In the cases of man number 1 and man number 2, they had no managerial experience, so it's not necessarily their fault. On how to continue gaining numbers on both YouTube and TikTok, after continuously singing and streaming, my voice began to give out and I had to reduce the number of singing shorts TikToks. I went to an otolaryngologist, which is the person that ear, nose, and throat doctor, and after examination was told my vocal cords were inflamed and I was to go on a vocal rest immediately to prevent damage. This has happened to other livers like Pecora, it's happened to Marin, it's happened to Suisse, it's happened to a bunch of Hololive people, a bunch of other ones who focus on singing and focus on those types of things. It is something that happens. I told man number 3 this, and he understood. After that acknowledgement from management, I streamed for shorter durations and reduced the amount of streams. I only posted TikToks and shorts when I could. Due to this, my social media growth slowed down. During one of my regular meetings at this time, man number 3 told me, if any of the other talents were in your position with having so many views on TikTok, they wouldn't waste this opportunity and stop working. See, this is the pressure that she said she was feeling. This is the things that should never happen. She has a doctor's note telling her she can't do this or else she's going to ruin her voice and she's going to ruin her vocal cords. It's a big what the heck moment. Yeah, it's definitely a big bruh moment, definitely. After hearing this, I cried because I felt as if I wasn't doing enough for my company and my community. The next day, I confronted man number 3, and he told me it wasn't what he meant to say and that he was sorry. I forgave him, but I still carry those words with me, and they still affect me to this day. So they gave her a bit of trauma. For what reason? To get more money is my only guess in this situation. After having enough with my agency's mismanagement, which was causing my mental health to decline, I expressed my intentions to graduate for the first time in August 2023. They wanted to compromise with me and asked what they could do to keep me with them. I asked for them for all I asked for from them was for change. So I told them that I knew it would take time, but I wanted to at least try. This never happened. So she never got the change she wanted. It was still the same place, the same club that was always there. Kind of like a whole Nijisanji thing, like I'm saying again, they don't want to change. They just don't want to change. After these meetings, some time passed and Gen 2 was finally given their own manager, who will be referred to as man number 4. Man number 4 also did not have prior management knowledge, but he did speak English and expressed that he would do his best and he was willing to learn for us. So man number 4 is willing to learn and do his best, which is amazing. That's what you want. I finally was happy and trusted man number 4 with everything. He made me feel worthy of asking for help and tried his best every day. But of course, this did not last long. My birthday was coming up, and after all the talents begged for months for birthday merchandise, after being told no, we finally got permission for it. So they asked for merchandise a ton. They got nothing for it. The birthday merch is a huge thing among corporate VTubers, especially because that's one of the places where a lot of people spend money and actually give money to the talents at that point. I decided to do a birthday donation subathon for my birthday celebration, and man number 4 helped me to plan it. I made milestones infographics so that with every milestone I reach, a new reward would be unlocked. One of the milestones being an original song. So she wanted to do an original song, of course, taking care of her voice and taking care of the things that she could do. She wanted to do this original song for her fans. I asked man number 4 twice to look over the milestones to make sure that I would have permission from a higher up to deliver these milestones. He said they were all fine to do. During my birthday stream, I was exhausted after planning and working on this event for countless nights, and I ended my stream early. I made about $3,000, so that's pretty good for a donathon. That's pretty darn good. Before my agency would take their portion of the revenue. After my birthday stream, I took a break for about a week due to my mental health declining, as I felt I had let everyone down and my birthday celebration was a failure. During my break, man number 4 messaged me and asked if I could have a quick meeting with him. So this already doesn't bode well. This is when I found out I wouldn't have been allowed to make an original song, even if I used my own money to do so. I confronted man number 4 and told him we talked about this milestone reward twice. So there was a conversation about it twice. And to which his response was, I guess there was some miscommunication. That is bad management, not miscommunication. Mismanagement is what it is. You forgot about it. You forgot to tell the higher ups. You forgot about what you were supposed to be doing for your talent. This is bad stuff. Absolutely, Gerard, bad stuff. During the same meeting, my agency also confronted me about the streams of the games, South Park: The Stick of Truth and Class of '09. Originally, they had applauded me for these VODs, and as they were exceeding expectations, they liked these VODs so much they told me to change the thumbnail to further increase views and analytics. During this meeting, they stated that I promoted hate speech and promotion of eating disorders. I denied this, and they wouldn't listen and did not explain further. However, they did not remove said VODs despite accusing me of the above reasons. If they had actual reason to do it, don't you think they would have removed the VOD? I do. I honestly think they would have removed the VOD. I mean, any company most likely would have removed the VOD if they had been put in this situation. You know what I mean? They placed me on disciplinary action immediately following this and without warning. They then announced this action as a hiatus. So they're pulling a Nijisanji, where they do disciplinary action and they say hiatus, or they say break, or they say vacation, or they say whatever, and they try to make it seem like it's not anything bad on their end, that they're not doing anything bad. On their VNU Entertainment Twitter account, as they did not want to make disciplinary action situation public. All my access to my social media, Twitter, YouTube, Discord, was taken away, and I was given a temporary Discord account so that they could keep in contact with me. By this point in time, I reached my breaking point and decided I could no longer work with VNU Entertainment. I then informed them of my decision to graduate as of the first week of 2024, in February. I did not ask them for compensation, I just wanted to leave. So that compensation thing was a lie, pretty much. pretty much on this whole thing. It's a lie. And this never happened. According to what is going on here, this never happened. I knew that I would be terminating my contract early, which was 3 years long, as stated by VNU Entertainment, so this resulted in multiple meetings. Before these meetings, I already acknowledged in my mind that I would have to pay back some costs, such as the cost of my model and assets, overlay emotes, for leaving early. However, during these meetings, they told me I would have to pay for damages, and losses totaling up to 605 million won, South Korean won, which according to conversion rates totals up to $450,000. So they were giving her a huge penalty, which I've never heard of a company doing this. I've never heard of a company doing it this big, honestly. And it's kind of crazy that they would go that far. We all know because of her that this is the case because she put out the information that was given to her. And that seems like a humongous amount of penalty for this. They were trying to, I guess, get the managers that they switched, all that stuff going on there. They were trying to charge her for as much as they could. This was the amount of money that they demanded I pay back so that I could graduate, terminate my contract. And if I did not do so, they would press charges against me, which they acknowledged in their statement on March 21st, 2024. I told them that before I promised to pay anything, I would need to see an itemized list with proof of receipts of the costs and payments. She needed proof. They didn't like that. I'm assuming they don't like that. Whenever you call out an organization like this, they don't like it when you call them out. This took them over a week to compile and deliver. The initial meeting was on February 6th, 2024. So they did give her the information, supposedly. When they gave me the itemized list, I immediately saw that a lot of the costs, damages, losses were fictitious, as they tried to charge me with things such as direct labor costs, which means like the salaries of the people involved, projects that included other talents, assets and materials that I was not allowed to use or had access to, and more. So things they created and never gave her, they were trying to charge her for. Things that like collabs and things that were involving other talents, they try to charge her for the full amount of it. They try to charge her for direct labor costs for each and every single manager. This was just going too far. When I asked them questions regarding the amounts of money listed and if this was legal, they muted multiple times for 3 to 5 minute intervals during the meeting to talk amongst themselves. I also asked them if they would still be receiving the money earned for my birthday subathon, approximately $3,000 US, and for the month of December, I worked approximately $1,000 US, to which they said they would be withholding it as a punishment due to my disciplinary action for the time being. So they were withholding pay. They were wage theft. I think it's what it's called here in the West. I believe that is called wage theft over here in the West, which is something that no one is going to be accepting of. No one is going to be like, oh, this is great. Yep, this is exactly what we want. You know, no one's going to be doing that. I decided to get a lawyer to look into everything as I felt I was being taken advantage of. After sending my lawyer all the documents, he told me that the itemized list was in fact illegal in the United States and not actionable. He also reviewed my contract and said that the contract did not make sense and it could be considered null due to the way it was written. So the lawyer said, this is just BS. This is not something that they can actually try to get you for. This is not something that they can actually charge you for. This is null and void, pretty much. Therefore, he told me to tell them that I would not be paying the $450,000 US amount and to lose all contact with VNU Entertainment, as they would not be able to press charges against me since I lived in the US and was therefore protected by US law. Additionally, they could not force me to go to Korea to pay either. I did as my lawyer said and told VNU Entertainment that I would not be paying and that I would be losing all contact with them as of February 27, 2024. So this matches up with what VNU said, but she's giving a lot more information in these things. I did not say once that further communication should be through legal procedure. At that point, I was done communicating with them and told them that and clarified that fact twice. So she was done talking. She clarified that twice. It's just done. She was just done with everything. They acknowledged me cutting contact and my refusal to pay and told me that they understood the circumstances and that they would take action as needed. I then waited 2 weeks since February 27, 2024 for VNU to make an announcement about my departure, which they knew since the first week of February 2024, but it never happened. I debated saying something myself, but I did not want to escalate the situation at that time or make things worse. I lurked in the VNU Discord server and saw so many of my fans wishing for my return and to come back healthy and happy, because it was a hiatus, supposedly. I also saw that they did not close my memberships and were still receiving money from that, as well as releasing merchandise while acting like I was still a part of the company, as they were posting videos of me celebrating the music video release and anniversary. This broke me as no one knew I would not be returning, so I decided to ask my YouTube moderator, the Chad that they are, to put an announcement of my departure in my section of the Discord server to let my fans know. as V and Yoon neglected to do so. After much consideration, I decided to keep streaming and went back to my old account, Alien Mixture, where right now she's happy, she's doing well. The mod is a Chad for doing that, by the way. The mod actually did do that. The mod is a Chad for doing that. I wanted to let my fans know what happened and why I was gone for so long, as you all deserve to have an answer that wasn't provided otherwise. I do not wish to continue focusing my energy on this matter anymore. I instead wish to focus my energy into rebuilding the community as well as to rebuild myself and move on. They can say that what they want to say. I know what happened to me and what I went through, and I will not let them gaslight me into thinking otherwise. I do not wish to keep being reminded about this, which is causing me to relive the past over and over again. To my fans and the VTuber community as a whole, I want to thank you for supporting me, and I hope you all will continue to do so in the future. And I will continue to do so, of course, because I'm a small VTuber. I understand how these things go. I understand how bad companies can be, and I do not want anything negative to happen to anybody, including her, including you guys, including anybody. Today, we're also going to be talking about Yurikawa Yoon, which is a female Japanese virtual YouTuber. It's a member of Japanese virtual YouTuber agency V. She joined them in the 4th wave, which was, according to this, on 2022. She debuted in 10/29/2022. And V announced, it was announced at 11 p.m. yesterday, last night, as of this recording and everything. And I have the actual announcement here, which I translated through DeepL. This is machine translation, just, be aware of that. It says, the talent, Yoon Yurikawa, notice of graduation from V and independence. Thank you for your continued support of V and its virtual talents. We would like to inform you that Yurikawa Yoon, one of our virtual talents, will graduate from V on March 31st, 2024, which is a Sunday. Yoon Yurikawa, this Sunday, one of our virtual talents will graduate from V and become independent. So they're going to go independent on this. We would like to express a sincere gratitude to all of our fans who have supported us since our debut. We would like to, it just does it again and again. It's repeating it. I don't know why it repeats it, but it does. We had been discussing with them about the future activities during the period of suspension. We respect your wishes and have decided to accept the request Yoon requested. So in this case, Yoon requested that they be graduated and it be done. So they respected the request to graduate and had been talking to them in regards to what they're going to be doing. As for Yurikawa Yoon's activities after April 1st, she plans to continue her activities on her own. Yurikawa plans to continue activities, I guess, on her own channel. I guess Yurikawa Yoon is being given the independence after that. It doesn't really say here, as Yurikawa Yoon's YouTube X will also be transferred to her. So yes, they're doing a full-on transfer, kind of like how Prism Project did the full-on transfer. So this is one of the good graduations, I guess, because of the fact they actually get to keep their stuff. Yurikawa Yoon will be transferred to her own account, and she will continue to use the same account. The graduation ceremony is scheduled to begin at 10 p.m. on March 29th, so there is going to be an actual graduation stream. In addition, for the sale of goods and voice contents at the V official shop, and for the acceptance of fan letters and color letters, etc., the sales of goods and voice contents will be accepted until March 31st, and it will end when stocks run out, even if it is before the end date. We would like to ask you for your continued support of V and other talents who belong to V. So this is basically them giving that whole announcement of everything that's going on and letting everyone know that at the very least V is going to be keeping all the content and all the stuff that they have, which is great. I applaud them for this. Here we have Nijisanji being in a Nijisanji Live, at least, being in an award show that Lapless Darkness was and Kyori was. The two on the sides are Hololive talents. And rapidly moving to disappointment to anger. This is disgusting. It's a Japanese award show that pulls out giant screens so VTubers could accept awards in person. The Hololive girls play buttons with their names on it. They have their names on it, the Hololive girls. Tsukino Mito's name is not on hers. So Nijisanji didn't even allow her name to be on the play button that she was accepting for the Japanese award show. They had to specifically request for them to remove the name. Wouldn't even let the Dai Senpai accept virtual play button with their effing name on it. You're worthless and you don't even effing forget it. That's what they try to push to their talents, that they are worthless. You know what I mean? They try to push that. So 1825 is Mito, 2450 for Kyori, 35 for Lapless. So let's take a look at what's going on here. This is the specific talents here. What they have, you can see that there's something written there, a little bit more. There's more written there. Then on Kyoto, Mito, this person doesn't even have it. This person didn't even have it, goddammit. It's just really, really dumb that this would happen. And of course, we have the timestamps here, which we can take a look at. 1825 is Mito. That's the only one I really care about, the 1825. That's the only one I really care about. So they have a play button here. Like they have their play button here. So there she is, a big screen. Tsukino Mito was one of like the first ones. Like look, she doesn't even have her name on it. You see that? She doesn't even have her name on it. They don't even let her put her name on that. Let anyone put her name on there. That is BS. You can see it a lot closer now. That is not there. That is one of the bad things. That is one of the things that I'm like, what the hell? Now let's go for Coyote. Let's just look at Coyote. 2450. Let's take a look. 2450.
さあ続きまして秘密結社ホロップスの研究者で24時間配信本雇用24など多彩な企画力で人々を魅了する白衣こよりなんと白衣こよりさんもこちらのステージに登場です
There you go. She's on stage now. And look, on there, she has her name. Like, right there. Ah. Right there. See, you can see. They have extra writing on top. The bottom one is the award that you got. The one above there, the Fan Fest, is the actual Koyori. So they actually had her name on there, which they didn't have for Tsukino Mito. Tsukino Mito, if I'm not mistaken, is one of the first Nijisanji livers, one of the early Nijisanji JP livers that did amazing things for Nijisanji JP that I guess Nijisanji JP does not appreciate. It's just really dumb that they do this. They're really making the talents feel like it's not your win, it's my win. It's the win of the agency, not you. So on the Nijisanji subreddit, we have someone who posted, and as of 4 hours ago, still hasn't been deleted, which is interesting. Nijisanji, copy-pasted, sold as cheap A merch. Meanwhile, in Hololive, new Gura merch collab probably had one of the drippiest designs I've ever seen. They have a watch. She has an actual watch for herself. She has a bag. She has a hoodie specifically for her. Look at that watch. Look at that watch. It's the little things in the hoodie. My goodness, dude, this is like the shark teeth around it, the little gems here, the little like fixing of tears in the clothing supposedly. All these other things. This is freaking. It's a good merch. Meanwhile, freaking Nijisanji has what, just acrylics, like not only just acrylic stands. I know Hololive has those too, but have that like acrylic photo holder, small keychains, and buttons. And that was like for everybody's birthday merch. It's like it's not creative, man. It's non-creative. Now what the heck are y'all doing? It's so uncreative. It's like, what the heck, my dudes? This is not how you do this thing, my dudes. It's not how you do this. The watch is cold as hell, man. Why is it so expensive? It's expensive because it's a freaking trident and other things. It's a unique watch. Of course it's going to be expensive. The attention to detail is really good. Even with the other stuff. The pre-order deadline is April 14th, 8 p.m. Pacific. Even with the backpack, it looks like a nice backpack. And the hoodie looks pretty good too. See what people have to say. There was this at one point, and I don't think it matters what merch Niji has at this point. Liver is still getting 2% for those. At one point, there was this. There were hoodies for Petra and this other person, I don't even know, Nazuno or something like that. At one point, there were hoodies, but they're getting 2% of that merch, so it doesn't even matter at that point. You know what I mean? It says, to be honest, the number is only an issue because illusion of good management has been challenged. While 2% of the person sounds terrible, it's one like the other. 98% goes to CEO. 98% is reduced by the cost of production and then remaining profits. Yeah, I mean, it should be a little bit more exact, I guess. Speaking of public outcry, how has Mindy's hat never official merchandise? I don't know. But yeah, the 2%, a lot goes into that, of course. But still, 2%, because people assume 2% is what's left over, like of what's left over after expenses. But we don't know. No one has actually gone through and done the full breakdown of that. So we don't know. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Welcome one and all to the Any Color Yahoo Fiesta thingamadoobs. What we're doing here is we're taking a look. It says, is the sale ban in place? It's going to be a rough day. What closes the door is roll the plastic and then a love. Plastic means like it's a bloodbath. Nikkei has been going down for a lot. Guess it's holding up well, but it hasn't even returned to half its price. Yeah, I think at one point it was like 6,600 back in like the heyday, like 2020, it was like 6,600, I think, yen. Now it's at like 2560, I believe. I don't really understand because short selling is increasing, even though the target price is like that, I guess, because of the rating. Good morning, it's going down, increased purchase, ranked for increase, unsold items, good, technically and fundamentally. I think it's a bit of a wait. It's probably a good market for people who invested in mid-March last year. Came to see the first time in a while, but it's been down. Cutting your losses is important. Then we have, it won't rebound, better, believe that we have an issue, IR, leaves a good impression on shareholders. We will have one shot to return the stock to over 3,000 yen. They're trying to move it up. Please go back up to 3,000, even if it's slowly. I thought this would be able to get it at a good price. Will Tezuka zone end today? The trending volume has returned to the previous level. We are only selling incessantly. What will happen after that? Yeah, people just like, should be time to buy back your own shares. I think it would be better to buy back our own shares after a long period of time rather than just 1 month, just by adjusting the period of financial statements. So the people are wanting the shares to be bought back, pretty much. I don't have enough strength to go back. It held up well compared to Nikkei average. Even if the price goes down, I will buy more. This is a person who wants to, benefit the company. And they're very happy to have you benefit the company whenever you can. Couscous recently bought back your own shares. VStats is a statistics site specializing in VTubers. Nijisanji Investors, what is this? March 2024 live streaming summary by brand. Compared to previous year, it's down 65% of revenue and stuff, yes. Average number of viewers, which is their revenue as well, from 1,792 people. The number of people decreased significantly to 978. So their viewership dropped. As remember, we saw before. Year-on-year comparison is plus 1.54. Average number of viewers from 3,000 to 3,008. But Nijisanji Yen dropped a lot. JP still recovered. November 2023, 2.7 million hours. December 2023, 2.9 million hours. January this year, 3.0 million hours. Things are going well. February this year, 1.7 million hours. So almost halved. Yeah, because of the cancellation issue. That's what people are saying. Yoshimoto can remove entertainers who quit the agency from the industry, but not any color, or rather VTubers. People are just eating them alive, as you can see here. Moderator slander against Suisei Hoshimachi was discovered and caused an uproar. Niji En issue has been picked up by YouTube's big overseas channels with over 14.7 million subscribers, and it's been picked up quite a bit smaller channels as well, which is, basically my small channel has picked it up. I think in the near future, we will be able to use AI to create favorite girls of our choice and have conversations with them. AI may happen. Yes, AI may happen. It's getting pretty difficult for them, they're saying. People with Nijisanji fan base who misinterpret the visuals and characters on X. She may be a dream girl for Dark History, some kind of derivative work. I'm not interested in AI VTuber, but I feel there's a potential if they can capture the fan base. So they're trying to go to AI. They're trying to recommend going into AI. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. They're just playing table games for entertainment, and even though they have a setup promise, since it's basically free, they have put a big emphasis on the entertainment element. But in the end, it doesn't matter that much of a difference in how many points you lose in one game. I think it's better to just enjoy the game as entertainment, and people will accept it because that's what they want. I mean, you can see that point. I can see that point. I would like Tasumi to reflect on Nijisanji Ien incident as a result of expanding too much blindly and create an in-house training plan that takes into consideration V, both domestically and internationally. I think we have given too much attention to our employees up until now. Our employees. They're not your employees. Well, I guess if you are investing in them, I guess they can be seen as your employees. I don't think they are, though. It's a company that just saves money. Even though Ien's reputation has fallen, people are talking about it again over this moderator incident. Goods are selling fast. Add it. It was listed on the Tokyo market, switched to Prime market, and there was a series of sell-offs that made people think there would be a commemorative dividend, but there was no sign of it, and they felt hopeless and disappointed. It's dark times. I want to buy when the stock prices cover any color and any color cross. The stock price will be overtaken by cover. If you have saved up money but can't use it, no one will know what to do from now on. And since both are plummeting, it is more accurate to say that any color, any kara, I guess that's the way that they say it in Japan, will overtake downwards rather than cover will overtake. Couscous, there's no reason to keep it here for a long time, right? So yeah, that's what people are saying. Let's see, in the first place, it was a winning route. As an agency, we don't have a style of production that has unified brand image. The only training school we had invested in failed, and Ian also failed, so he probably doesn't even know what to succeed. From now on, the only thing I can do is try to extend the life of existing one. Well, if there's a change in the management team, they have the money and might be able to take bold steps. I thought the moderator was talking about slander, but isn't it about employees? It doesn't have much of an impact. Yeah, people are trying to, say it's not much of an impact. It's true that's troubling, but in the first place, I believe moderators don't need to prove their identity and are just ordinary listeners who given the right to delete comments. For the most part, I think it is like that, but once you're a part of a large organization like Any Color, you're going to be getting a little bit more viewing, like people are going to view you a bit more. If you want to check carefully as a person on the broadcaster side, employees will need to check the comment history of the moderator to confirm there's no antisocial content. Oh god, so they're going to be policing their moderators now. I mean, it could be a way to do it. Confirm there's no antisocial content on SNS, etc. And the broadcaster will also need to check the moderator's comment history, applying to Any Color, screening, etc., etc. And then we have part 2, which has the same amount of people just basically giving the same type of things. I'm just letting you guys see it one by one. If you guys want to read, you can pause and read it all. But a lot of these guys are worrying their butts off on this type of stuff. The impact of it, this is all negligible, of course. There are no consequences to their actions. No one is saying anything negative about Any Color anywhere on the internet. It is all just the imagination of Riku and everyone else who is a stockholder. It is just people who want to hate on Any Color. What else kind of things do Needy Sisters say? They say all these types of things. You basically dealing with the moderator situation, you know, that type of stuff. So that's all we have on that end. And it is a big end there. It's a lot of people saying a lot of things. That's all we have for you today. Of course, thank you so much for being here, watching everything. Comment down below if you want to start a conversation on this whole thing. I want to hear everything that you guys have to say. Any constructive criticism, anything that you want to say on this whole matter. I appreciate you. Of course, my socials are down below and a video is going to be on your screen. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.